Hello, it's Shawnee. Welcome back. We're in the office. I've already done my eyes just because, yeah, I did. Here's my outfit for the day. It's just this like green blouse, kind of like roomy. And then these brown pants. These are from, I think these are from Old Navy. And then the boots, today's boots. I'm hot. So I've already done my eyes, kind of. I'm still gonna touch things up. And I've used all Lethal Cosmetics shades over here. Can you see that? There you go. Everything over here is also Lethal Cosmetics. And I'm just like adding some of the mattes to deepen things out. And I'm going in with the Nomad Air palette to get some of these deeper mattes. Now, there are a couple news stories I have. There are two interesting ones, and maybe if I have time, I'll share some other ones. So there was this story of something that I didn't even know like existed. Basically, I don't know if it's in the States. I believe it's definitely in the UK. I'm gonna go in with my Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm in Clear. You can basically hire the Grinch to come in and like mess up your Christmas stuff. Like you're hiring them for like the kids essentially. So this lady, I think it was like $85 or something. So this lady orders a Grinch to come in. So he just like pops up. It's like the Grinch who like the Jim Carrey one, like that's how he's dressed up. So he's got on his Santa suit, got his like bag. Let me look up the story to make sure I'm telling you correctly. Got his like bag and everything, and you know, he goes ahead and pops up at this person's door, the person that ordered him. So she hired him to come to her house to come out and engage in a bit of playful misbehavior, such as having pillow fights with the kids, putting toilet paper on the Christmas tree, you know, like stuff the Grinch does, but that's not too terrible. Yeah, and he's supposed to like take pictures with the kids afterwards. But I don't know who she hired this Grinch from, because she did not get what she paid for. And not in a like, oh, they didn't do enough. This Grinch did too much. I am going to use my Danessa Myricks Colorfix Nudes. So this one is shade 9. This is the one I typically use all over the face, and this one is shade 7 that I typically use as like concealer. And what the hell was that? I have my Rose and Ben travel brushes. I think I'll use this one for foundation-y things. This is the cream sculpting brush. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the Colorfix on the brush and then onto my face. So Home Dude comes in, the Grinch comes in, and he like destroyed their house. Like he destroyed their house. So the lady says that he poured juice and like detergent all over the place. He smashed eggs and party food, and he like all the food he ruined. And expensive cupcakes were thrown all over the place. Tree decorations were broken. And then the detergent poured on all of her food. And he smashed a bottle of the detergent over the floor and on one of the kids. And so he ruined the kids' like pajamas. And the before and after pictures are ridiculous. And people are like, well, you paid for the Grinch. And that's what you got. And they're also like, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Like, people are just, it's not funny because it's just not funny. But also, I'm like, girl, you paid like $85. Like, maybe if you paid a little bit more, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe that Grinch was just, he was having a bad day and he was being Grinchy. So she posts about this on like some social media, and the company called Santa Stop Here in Belfast, they shared a picture of the Grinch and said, "We hope you see the funny side." No, I don't see the funny side. Oh, mm-mm. You came in my house, you like decimated it. Like, you messed everything up. Like, you broke the tree stuff. You poured detergent all over the food and on my child. Like, what is that about? You threw all the food all, like, we can't eat the food, and these cupcakes were expensive. And the company is like, that post that she did actually like has boosted business. Oh, I'm sorry. She didn't hire the Grinch. It says the sister hired the Grinch. And they're like, we've done 30 visits this year, and you're the only one that's complained. So, and they've been doing this for over 3 years. Um, they also said that the Grinch knew the family personally, which to me makes it even worse. If you know me personally and you coming in here messing up my whole house, I don't know, y'all. I would need to know who's in this suit. If you talking about you know me, obviously you have some sort of personal grudge, okay? Because you came in here and you like, I thought that was crazy. I thought that was real crazy. Like, those kids are like, they're definitely going to be afraid of the Grinch now. Like, job well done? I don't know. Oh my God. There's this, okay, there are two stories. One is like, this is weird. So this lady, her husband said he was going out of town for a business trip, and she's like, fine, whatevs. So she looks at his location, like on the phone, I guess, like the iPhone, you can like, if people are sharing their location, and she sees where he is, and so she goes on Google Maps to like confirm, and I guess he's at a Hooters restaurant. And so she puts on like social media, like, when you find out your husband is at a Hooters restaurant, when he said that he was going on a trip for work. And she was like real upset. And some people on the interwebs were like, oh my God, I'd be so mad. And some people were like, why? And I'm the same with like, why? Girl, he getting some wings. They have good wings, you know? Like, I would just be like, why you ain't bring me none when you coming back? Like, he was in the area. He was going for his business trip. He was just at Hooters. I don't understand why some people are upset about that. So maybe let me know if I'm missing something, and that's like, but to me, I'm like, he's literally just at Hooters. Everybody knows Hooters has good wings. Like, I don't know. That was weird. And it's not like he's hiding it. It's not like he turned off his location or something. Like, you know exactly where he is. So I'm confused by that. I'm like, I don't understand, girl. Like, what are you so upset about? Maybe I'm missing something, because also some people were like, oh my God, I would be so pissed. And I'm like, I would not. It doesn't bother me. Should it? Should it bother me? I don't know. But this other this other story is a bit more like, huh. So this woman, she's real mad at this business because she feels like her husband was taken advantage of. But let me tell you how the whole story starts, because it starts with the husband, of course. They're married, obviously. They're in Australia, and he had a lengthy visit to the Pentagon Grand, which is a brothel, and he splashed out on like extras. So they're like, people usually come for like 30 minutes, an hour, but he was like here forever, getting it in. So he first paid in cash, right? For the first hour to enjoy his time with 2 sex workers. And he wanted to avoid leaving a paper trail, so that's why he used cash, because he didn't want the wife to know. But he was like, it's only been an hour. I want to do more, you know? So he was like, let's live it up, girl. So, so he went on to treat himself to more like fetish and fantasy stuff. And apparently he ran out of cash, and he tried to like do a wire transfer, but it wasn't working. Like it kept saying like pending or whatever. So he was like, listen, fine, I'm gonna go ahead and use the credit card. He was in there for 7 hours. 7 hours. And the only reason it seems like it stopped was because the ladies was tired. They were like, we don't want to do this no more. We're exhausted, sir. I've never heard that. I've never heard it. So it must have just been like I'm like, what was y'all doing? If he's in there, it seemed like he was still roaring and ready to go. And the ladies were just like, we tired, boo. We can't do this no more. Like, you got to go. And he finally left after the 7 hours. He spent $6,000. $6,000 done came out these people account. Do you hear me? Not 60, not even 600, 6,000. No wonder them ladies was tired. You must have had them doing some stuff, okay? That's a full day of work. And it sounds like they were working. So, you know, he tried to keep it on the DL because he didn't want his wife to know. But of course, when the credit card bill comes, she's like, what's this? $6,000 that you paid to this place. So she took him back to the brothel, and and she wants her money back because she said that they took advantage of him. She was like that he was drunk and on drugs when he came up in there, probably what he told her, which, okay, sorry. And the manager was like, well, he didn't seem like it, which, you know, you never know. But she was also like, and he managed to negotiate a discount. So he wasn't drunk. He wasn't too drunk or too drugged out to be able to, like, get himself a discount, right? And literally the only reason it ended was when the ladies were too tired and they just wanted to be done. So this wife is like blaming the brothel for supposedly taking advantage of her husband, when that wasn't the story. That, like, husband was getting it in. He wasn't minding spending all that daggone money. Maybe he was under the influence, because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be spending at a place. This is the Travel Cream to Powder Complexion Brush, and I'm going to use it with the bronzer here. So the lady is like, I'm going to protest outside of your establishment. And the owner's like, go for it, girl. She's like, can you just make sure that, you know, you can do it peacefully. You can protest peacefully and just like to the side. But they're worried that she's gonna have customers like not wanting to come in. Like, now I don't know if she followed through on protesting, but like, that's what you call, like, you don't want to accept that your husband just spent all that money on some booty. And so the owner is like, that's not our problem. Like, take it up with your husband. And if you really think that we took advantage of him, call the police. There's been no update that she did that or not. Oops. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what the husband told her happened. I mean, he must have came up with that real fast and quick. He was like, nah, like, I was like on drugs and I was super drunk and like, they took advantage of me. I'm gonna use these two blushes here. I'm just like imagining what he told his wife when she was like, boo, what's this $6,000 you done paid to this Pentagon place up in Australia? He had to come up with a reason real fast and quick, y'all. He had to come up with something. And that's what he came up with. That's his story, and he is sticking to it. $6,000. $6,000. That's a lot of money. I wonder if he knew, or if he was just like, yeah, just charge it to the card, charge it. That's a lot. And what were they? I'm curious as to what they were doing to get that high of a bill. And it sounds like it would have been higher, but he negotiated a lower fee. Now, the story that really pissed me off, do y'all remember a couple, excuse me, a couple of years ago, this story about those like celebrities that kind of like conned their way into like their kids getting into college? Like, they would pretend that their kids like played soccer or something, or was on the rowing team, or played lacrosse and all this stuff, just like pretending that their children were people that they weren't. So some of the well-known ones were like Lori Loughlin, her husband, and they like lied on the application to get their daughter in. Felicity, maybe both daughters, Felicity Huffman, I don't know who else it was, but it was like a well-known thing a couple of years back. And so I know Felicity Huffman had to do some like days in jail, and I believe so did Lori Loughlin. I can't remember for sure. Yeah, it was called Operation Varsity Blues. So it was 30 parents and a college admissions consultant. So the consultant was the one that was kind of setting it all up, you know? He was like, well, this is what we have to do. We're just gonna expand the truth a little bit. And they would have the kids like taking photos to like pretend that they're on like the rowing machine and all this stuff. But most of the kids say they didn't know anything about it. So Felicity Huffman paid $15,000 to somehow get her daughter's SAT scores boosted. So she was sentenced to 14 days of prison, but she served 11, and she was ordered to pay a $30,000 fine and had to do 250 hours of community service. This is what she said that really pissed me off, though. She said, it felt like I had to give my daughter a chance at a future. And so it was like sort of like my daughter's future, which meant I had to break the law. And these kids were accepted to like pretty well-known, like elite colleges. Like her daughter went to Carnegie Mellon. I think a few of the other people went to like UCLA. These are not just like your regular old college, you know. These are the ones that are difficult to get into at times. And she is supposedly apologizing. She said she owes a debt and an apology to the academic community and to the students and families that sacrifice and work really hard to get to where they're going legitimately. This pisses me off. Having been in school for 27 years, I'm not even joking. I started school at 3. Having been in school for 27 years and having to work my behind off to get to where I am, like having to take out loans, having to try to qualify for scholarships, so working my behind off to do that. And this lady is talking about she wanted to give her daughter a chance at life, but she had $15,000 to go ahead and pay this person to like boost her SAT scores. Honey, you could just throw $15,000 at the problem. That $15,000 could have helped me pay some tuition at the private school that I went to. So it just feels so, what's the word? Like unaware, so privileged. And you literally took a spot from somebody else who had the academic qualifications and like all the other stuff to get into that school. And you took that spot from that person. So now who knows? Maybe they're not going to be able to achieve some of the stuff they wanted to. Maybe that impacts their future and they don't have $15,000 to go ahead and throw at the problem. Y'all, when I read that, I was so like, keep your apology, okay? Keep your apology to yourself. I don't want it. I don't want it at all. If I was one of them parents, like you selfish bitch. Like, there's no other word. You weren't thinking about anybody else. And unfortunately, your daughter did not have the qualifications to get into the school. You know what you could have done? Had her apply to schools that she could get into. Furthermore, she would have had an up anyway. She would have had a boost because she is the daughter of a Hollywood person. Like, don't act like, I already know when I was in college and I would do tours of the campus. I worked in the admissions office, and if it was like a celebrity, because it's LA or California, this was in Orange County, if it was like a celebrity or a celebrity's kids, they got the special treatment. They got like the 5-star tour, you know what I'm saying? So, and there were a couple of folks who went to the school, you know, like schools like that kind of stuff. Colleges and universities are businesses, okay? So if you're able to say, oh, so-and-so went to this school, like that gives them a boost. So the fact that these janky ass people had the absolute unmitigated gall to do this and then are you trying to get sympathy? Are you trying to get sympathy and be like, oh my God, I really had to give my daughter a chance? Your daughter had more of a chance than a lot of other people. So initially when they did this, I was just like, man, whatever, they're just dumb. But now I'm personally offended, okay? I'm personally offended. Especially with trying to rationalize it. And not many people can say that I wanted to give her a chance, so I had to break the law. Imagine me saying that. And you got 14 days of 14 days of a sentence, and you only served 11. So you was in there for like a little, you weren't even there for a whole 2 weeks, and they probably had you, you know, in a special little cell. So you conned the academic community, and you just had to be away from home for less than 2 weeks. And you know what pisses me off about that? Just like, I mean, so much pisses me off about it, but just like the rigmarole that people have to go through with the educational system, like with student loans and like just, it really bothers me. It really, I wish she hadn't said nothing. I really wish she had just kept her mouth shut. I really wish she had. Because, like, now I've completely lost all respect. Like, initially I'm like, oh, they just dumbass celebrities, you know, that are just throwing their money at the problem. But now she's still coming back talking about, I had to do it. I had to do it. You didn't have to do it. Get your daughter a tutor, okay? Homeschooler, you know, like, what kind of mess? And I wonder how these kids performed when they were at the school. And then, I think if I remember, I don't know if the story is on Netflix or something, but I remember it was a whole like conglomerate of people that were involved, like coaches and stuff, like athletic coaches would get money. Because this dude, that just feels like such a privileged thing to do, you know? And then people, there was this black lady who got arrested and put in jail for putting that her child was, like, when you have school districts and stuff, y'all know this, y'all are parents, you're supposed to go within the district that you live in, right? I think it's just for public schools. So she put down an address that would put her child in a better school district. And you know what happened to her? She went to prison. But Felicity Huffman and all these other people spent like a long weekend in jail for this like egregious thing that they didn't have to do. Like this other lady, she was desperate to get her child an education. Maybe that's wrong too. Maybe it's wrong too, but I can tell you, growing up in the hood, I know people did that. You didn't have no choice if you wanted to get your kid to go to a school with resources. Like I remember I took the SAT at a local public school, and I was like taken aback by the difference in resources from that school and the private one that I went to. The private one that I was like, I had to take the public transit to. I was on financial aid. I had to work in the cafeteria serving my friends food. We had to recycle cans to pay for my uniform, like all this stuff. And then these people just come in and pay a couple dollars, because $15,000 off of, you know, a millionaire is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. Y'all, when I tell you that pisses me the hell off, it pisses me off. Sorry, I had a moment. That just pisses me the hell off. I want to call her out her name so bad. But the last story, before I completely wrap up, is about this man who was on his deathbed, and he tells his daughter that he has to tell her something. She's like, "What, Father?" And he reveals to her that the name he's known by is not his real name. and that he is a fugitive who has been on the run for 50 years. And he's like, please don't look into it, like, just let it be. And she's like, the hell I will. So she goes and looks up what happened and finds out that her father, the person she knows as her father, had stolen, I think it was like over $200,000. What was she saying? People already. Hold on. Oh, I'm so riled up by that. He robbed a bank. So it seems like it was his birthday that day that he robbed the bank. And like he told her his actual name. And she Googled this stuff and found out that like the stories were up there. It says a vault teller robs a bank, and she saw pictures and she's like, that's my father. She's like, there are hundreds and hundreds of articles. And so it sounds like he was like 20 and he stole like several $100,000 that would equate to 1.7 million in today's economy. He was inspired by the Thomas Crown Affair movie. And he was on America's Most Wanted. He was on Unsolved Mysteries. And they're still looking for him as he's on his deathbed. And yeah, even his wife didn't know, and they had been married for like 40 years. Basically, it was that he worked for a bank as a teller, and it was like a Friday and it was his birthday weekend, so he brought in like some whiskey and a pack of cigarettes to use during his break. I don't really need my bank teller drunk, but anyway, at the end of the day, he went into the vault and he quietly stuffed $215,000 into the paper bag that he had brought the whiskey in, and then he just walked out and went about his business. So basically they were looking for him for like 5 decades. And if you're wondering how did he get away with that, well, right after that something happened. Oh, Apollo 11 landed the first humans on the moon. So everybody was like, bunk that robber, we on the moon, you know? And so the headlines kind of just went away about him. But they got tips from all over the place. But he had already started a new life, and she felt like he wasn't really living, like he was in hiding. He would drop her at school, go to like games, he chaperoned school trips, but she was like, he always had on a beard and he regularly took off his baseball cap in public. He never left the country, even though his wife and daughter were like, come on, let's go out of the country. And he's like, I prefer staying in the States. Like, there's so much to see here. And the daughter figured out he couldn't leave the country. He didn't have a passport in his actual name. So he didn't have a passport. So basically, he's dying. He tells her this secret, and she's like, I don't want my father's last days, you know, like in a prison. And so they didn't say, she told the mom. They didn't say anything, and they were like, we still love you, blah, blah, blah. So he passes away. And I think it was not long after that the police came knocking on his door, like a couple months later, or her door, and was like, you know why we're here. So basically, he lived a lie his entire life. He changed his name, all that kind of stuff. But I guess he got away with it. What would you do if somebody you loved was like, I'm a felon, like, I'm a bank robber, I didn't tell you. I figured you didn't need to know. What would you do? Anyways, child, let me get myself together because, oh shoot, I have to put this I got a new clock because the old one stopped working. This is the old one, real nice and cute. I don't know why it's being weird. This is the new one. I couldn't find the old one, like, couldn't find the same one, so I tried to get something that's kind of interesting, so there we go. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully some of this was helpful. Hopefully you understood my rant about these bunk-ass celebrities taking resources from other people. I hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of some of these stories. Again, thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.